Hi, friends. This is Caitlin. Welcome back to Pink and Main's Facebook or YouTube channel, wherever you are joining from. I'm so excited to hang out with you tonight. We're going to be creating with one of the new stamp sets and one of the new die sets from the new release that came out last Friday. So we're going to be playing with the Sprinkles of Joy set, which was lettered and drawn by Pink and Main's very own Mommy Lay. I love this set so much, and the two major images in this set are like bigger featured images. So I couldn't pick between the two. And so my solution is that we'll do one card with die cutting tonight, and we'll do the other image on a card on Thursday, bringing in some heat embossing in a little bit of a different way. So I hope that that is fun. And let's go ahead and get you switched over so that you can see what is happening. Everybody's checking in. I see Heather, Kendra, Virginia, Nilsa. It's so good to see you guys already in the chat. That wasn't what I wanted to do, guys. There we go. Okay, now we're ready. Okay, so this is that stamp set I was talking about. This is the Sprinkles of Joy. And so you get a couple solid images, you get the solid clouds, you get the little solid ice cream that you can put on top of the cone, you get some little sprinkles and a little cherry. The sentiment is sending sprinkles of joy. And then we have the two main images. So tonight we're going to be playing with the little hot air balloon ice cream. And then Thursday we'll play with this other one with the little girl kind of peeking, and we're going to play with a big sentiment kind of connecting together with that. I just thought it would be kind of fun to like do the whole set. Well, the major parts anyway. So I already stamped out my image. There's a better look at it. How stinking cute is that? I love the contrast of like this big, giant, bold ice cream with how teeny and tiny cute that little girl is inside. And then I already stamped out my sentiment as well, the sending sprinkles of joy. I didn't die cut these yet because I figured if we're going to have to die cut our background, we'll just do it all at the same time. So for my actual card, I grabbed the Warm Basics paper pad. And from that, I grabbed the pink gingham and the pink with white dots. And so I'm thinking one as my backer panel. We're going to do white die cuts with this new stamp set, or sorry, die set. This is the Layered Scallops A2 Rectangle die set. We played with the circle version of these last month, and so I want to play with them again. When I first saw these, I was like, why do they look like stamps? Like mailing stamps. That's so weird. But I will show you they're very easy to use. We're going to use the smaller set. And so I'm going to do those in white. The scallops are going to be in white. Oh, we got a little blurry. I confused the camera for a minute. So we're going to layer our pinks, bring in some white scallops, and then our super cute image on that scalloped layer. So that is the game plan. Let's get my card base ready. I did already pull my Copic markers, so that should help too. So my white that I'm using is just the Pink and Main Ice Rink, the 110 pound. Put that over there. Left my cart over behind me today. Let me spin that light around so you can see too. That would probably be a good thing. So I'm gonna make my card base and get my two pieces ready for my die cuts all in one. So I'm gonna start by trimming my paper down to 5.5, right? So we're cutting it in half. So now we have two 5.5 layers. One I will set aside for my card base, and the other I'm going to cut in half again at 4.25, like we're making A2 card fronts. We are going to use one of those to do 2 layers with that die. I originally was thinking gingham on top, but now I think it makes more sense that the gingham's just a little bit deeper, like barely, but deeper of a pink. So I'm thinking that will be my solid panel. And then the smaller layer on top of the scallops will do in the lighter one. So trim this down to 4 1/4. I always like to do my 4 1/4 side first because I get a bigger piece of scrap, like one bigger piece instead of two like medium-y pieces. That might just be me. I don't know. And then this guy we're going to cut with this stitched rectangle, and I do want to save some of my paper because if I run it through my die cutting machine, it will be scratched up forever. So I'm just kind of holding this in place just to get a rough idea of how big I want it to be, leaving myself a little security border. I'm also pre-apologizing now. I have been having issues with my nails. I think we've mentioned it last week. I put regular nail polish on them so you guys wouldn't have to look at them. And then I did that too close to going live. So now they're wet. And so there's a couple indents. So if they just kind of flake off through today, if you see it, no, you didn't. Okay. All right. We have all of our bits and pieces. So let's score our panel to make our card base. We're going to score it right at 4 1/4. I like to tuck it into the corner of my scoring board so I know my edges are nice and straight. I like to score it once on there and then pull it off and really press down. It's not the one that goes in there. All right, so there is our A2 card base. Guys, do you see that line? There it is. I got a new glue bottle. Oh, it's so exciting. It's the little things. I'm gonna just lay down my liquid glue, grab that gingham. I generally like to put my first layer down flat if we're gonna pop anything up with foam. It is very rarely that first layer. I think it's just like a security thing for me. I just like knowing that when my recipient gets it, it's going to be like nice and adhered like all the way around. All right, let's get, you know what, let's color so then we can do all of our die cutting at once. We'll come back to these. We'll just set them to the side. I did use my Copic hex chart to pick my colors of what I thought would match the kind of pinks in my background paper the best. Let's get you zoomed in. Shift this down a little bit. All right, so I do have, like I said, all my markers. It's kind of a sea of tan and pink. Let's start at the top and we will work our way down. I see people checking in. How is everybody? Did you guys do anything fun over the weekend? Definitely let me know. Or if anybody has any plans, if anybody, well, I know a bunch of people here are from the US. So if you have any fun plans coming up this weekend for Memorial Day, let me know too. I have to work next Monday, so my plans are limited. I just got that cherry. I went with like a deeper pink instead of a red, just because this whole card is pink and I didn't want it to clash. For my white whipped cream, I am going in with C2, and I'm gonna emphasize the bottom of each layer, where if this was like rounded whipped topping, it would curve under. So there would be a little shadow there. And the trick with shading in something when you still want it to look white is, for me, is to leave actual white space. So I'm going to go C2 and then jump up to C0 to blend that out. And I'm going to leave a good strip of plain white paper at the top of each of those sections, and that's going to help it to look white and not gray. Plus, once we color in the vanilla ice cream, I'm choosing vanilla, but you could obviously color it whatever you want. Once you color in the ice cream, in comparison, this will look more white than gray. Jessica's just chilling. Oh, you're going on a crafty retreat. That's exciting. That sounds like fun. For my vanilla ice cream, I decided to go with some E50s. So I have my E53. This is like the cutest little stamp because you could color these literally to be any flavor. If your recipient has a favorite ice cream flavor, this would be a really cute one to kind of customize it to them. I love that idea. So I did a little shadow under the whipped cream, and I did a much bolder, wider shadow line on the bottom where the kind of scoop would have kind of bumped and created a little shelf. And then for my drips, I like to just pick a side and kind of curve with the drip just on one half. Oh, Heather's getting ready to take her son to school. That has to be a really big transition, I'm sure. It's so funny. I feel like either people go like all out crazy for Memorial Day plans or like absolutely nothing. Like we're either home or we're like far away. I feel like there's no in between. So I'm going in with E51 to blend that out. And then my lightest is going to just be E50. We're going to fill that in. And hopefully now you can kind of see what I meant by once this has more color to it, this now looks white and not gray. I'm going to also go in with RV63, which is going to be my lightest, like kind of pinky shade later. And we're going to shade in her little blush marks. I like to kind of put these away as I go so I don't get mixed up. All right, let's shade in her little face. Normally, you guys know I do like a 3 or 4 color skin tone. For this one, she's so little, I'm just gonna do 2. Oh no, it's gonna rain all weekend. I think it's supposed to rain here at least Saturday and Sunday too, Virginia. So I feel your pain on that one. Delaware and Virginia are not too far apart. So I'm going in with E13, shading in her hands, the outside of her face, and then right above her nose. Let's see if we can get, there you go. Just like that. And then we're going to fill that in with E11. Oh my gosh, Virginia. That's so exciting. So many graduations. I always forget that's like, you know, obviously a big deal this time of year. So many people having family graduate. My E11 kind of washed that out a little bit. So I just went back in with my E13, you can see, and just kind of reinforced that shadow. See if we can get you guys a little closer. There we go. That might be better. I decided to, you know what, I'm going to change my mind. Her skin turned out a little more tan than it was going to be in my head. So let's jump over. Let's go 59 and 57 for her hair. We're going to just emphasize the artist's drawn lines for those hair strands. For 59. And then shade that in with the 57, just for a nice kind of medium, warm brunette color. Guys, I am so excited. I can finally tell you guys, because now everyone at my work pretty much knows, I got a new job. And I'm going to start in a couple weeks. So I will, hopefully I'll have some fun updates to share with you guys on here. We'll see, but it's going to be a very different position for me. So hopefully it's all good. All right, so now I'm jumping to RV17 for her little shirt. I'm just doing one solid color. I had intentions of doing a whole RV like 55, 63, 17 combination, but I don't know where I was planning on putting it because I want this to be waffles and that's cherry, so it should match. So, you know, thank you. Thank you guys. I'm very excited. I've needed a change for a little while now. My position before just was not bringing me joy. And I know work doesn't have to be fun all the time, but I'm very excited. So, woohoo. All right, I grabbed E30s for my waffle cone here. We're going to start with 35. I might end up bringing the 37 in. We'll see. So we're going to start with a 35 inside her little basket. We're going to add it on the outside edges without touching the actual edge, and then kind of flick my color in. Under that ledge, I'm going to put a good deep highlight. And then I'm going to do the same thing, avoiding the very edge on the actual basket part, flicking that color in. And leaving that gap on the edge is just really going to help to give that reflected light. Thanks, Nilsa. We'll shade in with the 33. And I'm just pulling that 35 kind of out. And then we'll jump to 31 on the edges and fill in that center. And I was definitely going for that like cake cone kind of feeling. So I definitely wanted this to be a little softer, a little maybe like butterier almost of a color. And then I'm going to go in one more time with the 35 just to really emphasize those shadows again. Especially over the waffle area, because that extra pattern really kind of fades it out a little bit. And then both of their eyes are open. So you know that means we need some white highlight. So I'm gonna, for the bigger one, for the ice cream, I'm gonna take a 08 white jelly roll. And we're just gonna give those little white highlights. And then on the little girl, because she's so tiny, we're gonna go 05. Yep. You know what? We'll add a little highlight to the cherry too. So I just love the extra little detail that that gives. I feel like it just kind of wakes them up, gives them a tiny bit more personality. I love that. All right, so that is our coloring done. So let's get all of our die cutting situated. This one. And I love that this die cuts out like the space in between the strings. That's amazing. We need her sentiment. I don't know about you all, but I always have like a little stash of washi tape like stuck to the side of my desk. So that's what I'm using to hold everything down. All right, so we're gonna, from this die set, there we go. We're gonna grab the smallest stitched rectangle and the smallest scalloped rectangle. I'm gonna just swivel over here for a second. You're just gonna have to listen to the soothing sound of my voice while I run these through my big shot. Like, see, look at that detail from that die, like around her and between the strings. That's amazing. I freaking love that. All right, and then the little sentiment ready to go. So it is not the Stampin' Die of the month. That was the little penguins. This is the Sprinkles of Joy stamp set that came out with the new release on Friday, Nilsa. We have our stitched panel that she's going to be on. And then we have to do 2 rounds with our die, which fell over, because of course it did. One. That being said, you could definitely make this into like a little postage stamp, right? One day we're gonna have to do that. One day we're gonna have to turn this, like just put one of these on top of it single and make it a postage stamp, because that's all I can see when I look at it by itself. You guys probably think I'm crazy. I need to be right. So fair enough. All right, pop that back into place. I like to clip off the top section, or even sometimes the, like with just one side, honestly, of my packaging. And then I can just slide these into the sleeve. And that's how I store a lot of my stuff now, because then I don't have to worry about buying all these different storage things. Like, I love that they exist, and I'm sure for people, there are people that it's perfect for, but sometimes it just feels like they are not for me. All right, so our die cuts look like this, right? There's two, they're two of the same. So what you want to do is take one of your layers and flip it around, do I think like a 180 with it. And then when you line up like where those corners would be, now you get, there you go, that beautiful, perfect scallop. And then the stitch panel is going to fit right on top of that. Exactly, Heather. It's so much more shelf space, right? Like, it doesn't add any bulk. I feel like less wasteful that way. And honestly, my pink and main packaging holds up really well. I do that with most of the companies. that I have products from, but especially the Pink and Mane. With the new release every month, it can be like a lot to keep up. All right. So I added that first layer to our card base with liquid glue. I added these 3 layers together with liquid glue. You know exactly what that means if you are not new here. We're grabbing the foam tape. We're going to pop up this whole little panel, a little scallops panel with foam tape. And then we'll add her right on top. Just going to take off backer tape. And for anybody who might be watching that is newer to my lives, just know that all of the items that we're using today are going to be listed either above or below the video, depending on where you are watching from. I feel good about that. And you can see like the scallop border gives a good separation, but I feel like that physical separation, that foam that gives it that 3D dimension, just really helps that to stand out. I love that so much. So then I kind of want to add her like a little off the page. And maybe like this sending sprinkles of joy like there in the middle. And then I also grabbed the enamel dots that coordinate with the warm basics. This is the Pretty Posies glitter enamel dots, and they match. So they have that like perfect pink glitter. So let's add her down with some liquid glue. And then I'm thinking pop up the sentiment with just a tiny bit more tape. And that way I can tuck some of these enamel dots under that as well. Yep. What's that? I love how this it looks. I just think it needs like one little extra. If you have a hard time like picking up enamel dots, or you have long nails or really short nails, my favorite thing to use is this little pokey tool that I got from the Dollar Tree. They come in, I think, like packs of 2 or 3. I have multiple of them at my desk at all times. They're pink. They coordinate with all of your Pink and Mane items. But I love that I can kind of stick the enamel dot to the pointy part and use it to kind of direct what I'm doing. I think I kind of want them like around. Let's see, now I'm not sure. I'm not going to push down. I'm going to just kind of drop them where I'm thinking and not commit yet. As long as you don't push down, you can adjust them. Doing the large, medium, and small. I think that's cute. Maybe move this over just a smidge. Yeah, I like that. All right. So there is our sweet little sprinkles of joy, sending sprinkles of joy card on its little card base, because even if I'm not stamping in them, I'm trying really hard to remember to put them on a card base. So yeah, I hope that that is inspiring. Just a sweet, simple card with this really cute image. And we will use the other stamp set image, this one, on Thursday. So we're still going to do Copic coloring to color her in. We're obviously going to be able to get a little more detail on her. We'll figure out some fun flavors to color our other ice creams in. And then we're going to play with heat embossing a die cut sentiment, I think, because I love that look of like a really hefty, shiny sentiment. And I feel like I don't see a ton of people doing that. And I want to show you guys how it looks. So here we go. All right. So we'll take one more look this way. Let's move that out of the way. How about that? One more look this way at our super sweet little card. I am so grateful that you came to hang out with me. I saw at one point we had like 28 or 29 people. That's so amazing. I am so excited to hang out with you guys every Tuesday and Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. I hope this is fun for you. If you have any suggestions or questions, you can always leave them in the comments. I go back and check from anybody that's watching this after the fact too. So I'd love to see what you guys want to see and answer any questions that I can. So I'll keep an eye out for that. I hope that you guys have an amazing Wednesday, and I will see you back here on Thursday. And make sure that you are following or that you are subscribed, whatever platform you're watching on. Make sure you give us a thumbs up so the algorithms are more likely to send us to other people that might like these kinds of videos. And yeah, I hope that you have a great day tomorrow. I'll see you soon. And until then, happy crafting.